Hey everybody, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Sean.
And we just want to take a quick moment and thank you so much for watching our videos and commenting and interacting with our posts. Really appreciate it. And we wanted to ask if you have found our information we've been providing valuable in any way. Share this on your page with your friends, help us reach more people and just get more involved. We really appreciate it.
And if you have anything that you're just dying to know, any questions whatsoever, comment, private message us, reach out to us, and we'll be sure to include that in one of our next videos.
Absolutely. So without further ado, the next episode is about supplementing for fat loss. Welcome to another episode of the Vitamin E Show. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're going to talk about supplementation, specifically for fat loss, and more importantly, are you ready for supplementation? So we get asked a lot about, fat burners. I need to lose some extra body fat. What can I take? There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of products out there, and all of them are basically the same thing. There's some mixture of caffeine with different herbal extracts that are supposed to, really all they are stimulants, increase blood flow. And increased blood flow does aid in fat loss, and some of them call thermogenics, but all thermogenics are just, again, increased blood flow, increased heart rate, and it heats your body up. So they do help, but there's a lot of people are scared to take stimulants, things like that, for good reason. Some people can't sleep if they take them, so we never really recommend those things because there are some natural options that we're going to cover today that work a bit better for this. So better may not be the best word, but in my opinion, it saves you more down the road long term with health, and also you'll get a few other benefits of the stack that we're going to explain in a minute. But anyway, first off, are you ready for supplements? So basic 4 questions. If you can answer yes to all of these questions, the answer to this question is yes. We have some recommendations, however, beyond just a yes or no to these that we're going to dive into as far as how we feel you should be prepared for supplementation to work and not be a waste of money. So consistently exercising twice a week, consistently tracking what you eat, following caloric intake recommendations, and have you been doing all of these things for at least 4 weeks? So time plus consistency. 4 weeks isn't a very long time, but that's about the friendliest number we could agree upon that would give you time to gauge some of these things. So first things first, consistently exercising twice a week.
So consistently exercising 2 times a week. When we say exercising, that's not, going out on a walk in your neighborhood 2 times out of the week. Not like, just a light jog, steady state type cardio, come in, hit the treadmill, walk out the building. Ideally 2, full body type exercises, especially if you're only going to be doing it 2 days out of the week. More circuit hit style training, something that's going to be beneficial as far as getting some resistance training in, getting that cardio in, going to be a time efficient workout as well. That's going to be the first key to all of this. So ideally, when you're coming in, like I said, full body, making sure that you're doing circuit type stuff, back-to-back exercises. So an example, get in, pick 3 exercises, let's say like a squat, plank, and a push-up. That way you're hitting a little bit of everything, upper, lower, core. Do those back-to-back, about 45 seconds each. Take a break at the end, hop back and get into another circuit. It's kind of a basic one to get started. Get your heart rate up, keep you moving the entire time there.
Cool. Yeah. So that would be better. You're gonna receive more advantages if you exercise that style, emphasize it versus just half-assing it. So consistently tracking what you eat. This is a biggie here. A lot of people, I've worked with a lot of clients over the years, and they come in, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'm listening to everything you're saying. I'm eating only things you say I can eat. Well, you tracking it? Well, no. So step 1, there is nothing anyone can do for you if you don't know what you're eating, okay? So nutrition portion of all this is much more important than the exercise as far as results, immediate fat loss results. Exercise is just as important as nutrition as far as overall health, But when we're talking specifically geared around fat loss, nutrition is going to matter a whole lot more than the exercise. And if you're not tracking what you're eating, like for instance, I had a client one time loved peanut butter, and I told them they could have peanut butter, and so I'm not losing any weight, Ethan. I don't know what's going on. And I said, just write down everything you eat for 1 week. Everything you eat for 1 week. Bring it back to me. Just everything. I don't know, everything. Brought it back. Several times throughout the day, the chicken that she's eating gets dipped in something that is full of sugar or carbohydrates, and lots of scoop of peanut butter. So I asked, is it just a scoop of peanut butter? Or is it a scoop of peanut butter? How much peanut butter? So she was honest with me. Well, sometimes it's as much as I can fit on the spoon. So peanut butter is very calorically dense. So it's good for you, yes. Natural, nuts are very good for you. If it's a natural peanut butter, especially with no added sugar, none of extra ingredients. Some of the ingredients are just peanuts and maybe salt. It's very, very good for you, sure. There are healthy fats, healthy proteins, good fiber. All of that's true. But it's very calorically dense. There's a lot of fat in each serving of peanut butter. About 2 tablespoons is something like 200 calories, and almost all fat. Yes, there are healthy fats, but that adds up very, very, very fast. And a huge scoop out of the bucket with a spoon is way more than 2 tablespoons. So it adds up fast, So track what you eat, measure things you're not sure of. I don't always measure everything 100%, but I measure it until I feel comfortable enough eyeballing it. And then I always check myself randomly just to make sure I'm on track. But measuring what you're eating, knowing how much quantity you're eating, and tracking it is very, very, very important.
Because it's very easy to forget about the stuff that you don't want us to know about, or that you shouldn't be having there.
I want to hop in real quick and say one more thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be like MyFitnessPal or something with a computer or any type of technology at all. It could simply be a notebook you buy at Staples for $1, and you write down everything you eat in it and how much of it, and look at it yourself. Like, just use common sense, or come by, ask one of us, ask a trainer, ask someone that has some nutrition knowledge, look it over it for you. It doesn't have to necessarily be on MyFitnessPal, but I would prefer it being something where you can track macronutrients as well. But anyway, sorry, just wanted to.
But speaking on that, MyFitnessPal, the next one, following your caloric intake recommendations. I know a lot of people don't have the slightest clue where to start as far as how many calories you need,
Or
what
how to
type.
figure it out.
Exactly.
Right.
So a really good tool to use is MyFitnessPal there. And that way, the more information that you punch in, the more accurate it is, the better recommendations they will give you. That way, it's at least a start to start tracking things out. So even they have some very kind of basic recommendations based off what you give them. Ideally, what is it? Generally around.
They generally recommend as far as percentages on macronutrients we're talking about, so generally it's about 30% on protein, 50% on carbs, and 20% on fat is what I see a lot when you automatically put some stuff in there and even specify that you want to lose weight is what I generally see somewhere in that ratio.
Mm-hmm. So that is a good start there, but what we will find out as well, Ethan will kind of cover a little bit more in depth. Some people respond a little bit differently to certain types of things. A lot of people don't respond as well to the carbs, a higher carb intake level. So one of my recommendations is having a little bit higher amount of protein. Make sure you're getting everything you need to build up muscle mass, which is going to help out increase your metabolism, help you burn off a little bit more fats, less overall carb intake, a little bit higher fat intake, because as you have a little bit more, as you're not taking in as many carbs, your body's going to be burning off a lot more of those fats. So don't want to be afraid of the fats. You're going to get a little bit higher calorie intake from taking a higher amount of fats as well.
Just a really quick example to demonstrate why 30% of your macronutrients coming from protein is a bad idea. Let's just say you're, average person, average height, not super large human being like me, and not very, very small, just an average person. You plug in all the information, you say that you want to lose 2 pounds a week is the most it'll let you choose, so most people pull that. But even at 1 pound a week, your caloric recommendation for your average person is about 5.5 foot tall to 5'10", somewhere in there. Let's go with a female, because they're gonna always give you lower recommendations out of good reason. You don't have as much muscle, as much things to burn. calories with. But let's take an average female is going to get, if you're trying to lose a pound or two a week, they're going to give you somewhere in the ballpark of probably around 1,600 on the top end, and the low end I've even seen as low as like 12 or 1,300. So let's take the bottom end, worst case scenario, at 1,300 calories. So the way you figure out like what your macronutrients are based on percentages, so like of 1,300 calories, 30% they're recommending to be protein. So you take 1,300 and multiply by 0.30, that's 30%. That gives you 390 calories. So from protein, 4 calories is 1 gram of protein. So 390 divided by 4 is 97 grams of protein. That is very low, very, very low. If you weigh anywhere between 120 and 150 and you're only eating 97 grams of protein, that's a very low amount of protein, and it's not going to be enough to help your body repair from an actual exercise routine. If you're exercising and you're really breaking down the muscle fibers like you need to be to increase your metabolic rate, you have to have more protein incorporated in your diet to help you with the muscles rebuilding. The supplements we're going to talk about will also help with that to a certain degree, but it cannot replace protein. So gotta have protein.
And just kind of piggyback on that, the reason for that, not all calories are equal there. So if you're not taking in enough protein, a lot of times you're getting in your exercises, you are going to start eating away at your muscle mass. You may start to lose a little bit of weight there by the number on the scale, but you're going to be losing more muscle than anything.
And if you're not eating protein, you're eating something else, which is most likely carbohydrates, and those do not help you lose body fat. So that same example at 1,300 times 50%, because that's what it generally MyFitnessPal generally recommends about 50% of your calories to come from carbohydrates. That's 650 calories. Divide that by 4, puts us 162 grams of carbs a day. I barely eat 162 grams of carbs a day, and I'm 6'6" and 260 pounds. So you do not need that much carbs in your diet. If you are naturally very small, that means you're more insulin sensitive and your body can't handle more carbs. But if you're trying to lose weight and you're watching this video right now and trying to help you lose weight, that would probably mean that you have some body fat to lose. So you're probably slightly overweight, which is nothing wrong with that, but that's why we're here. And you need to lay off the carbohydrates as much. Put more of those in the protein. Protein also has a thermogenic effect when you eat it, so it helps actually your body. It heats your body up and creates a lot of work to get the blood pumped in your stomach to help digest and break down the protein, get it to where it needs to go. So that's why bodybuilders always eat every 2 hours. There's always some protein because it kind of keeps them in a thermogenic state. But you don't necessarily have to do all that every 2 hours, but that's the reasoning behind it. So, covered exercise, tracking, caloric intake recommendations. The better your ratios are and your macronutrients, the better results this is going to be. But tracking in the first place is step one. Just see where you're at. And then have been doing all of the above for at least 4 weeks. The reason why this is on here, guys, is because even us and the best trainers in the world, the best exercise scientists in the world, the leading person in the fitness industry, there's no way I can look at a client and lay out a perfect plan the first time and know that it's 100% accurate. There's no way. It is not humanly possible. There is no way for science to tell us that. There's tons of variables in your body that may change how things are going to react and how things are going to work. And lifestyle, all of those things come into effect. Hormones, emotions, all those things come into effect. And I can't peg all that right on the first try. So the reason why it's so important for you to have been consistent with this part, because you have to know how your body works. You have to understand what happens to your body when you eat 200 grams of carbohydrates in a day. Probably not from the best sources. You have to watch what happens. You have to watch what happens to when you start to work out too much and you're not getting enough protein and you feel more sore. You don't know why you're not recovering. Like, you have to pay attention. You have to listen to your body. You have to know how it responds. And you may get a recommendation of you can eat 1,300 calories. Maybe you need to be at 1,600 though. And the only way you're going to know is to track that and consistently do something and then make changes. Or maybe it tells you 1,600 calories and you eat that and you gain more weight and it's not necessarily good. Maybe its body fat percentage goes up as well. Well, maybe it was a little off and your metabolism's a little slow. We need to bump that down to 1,300. So you have to track things. You have to know how your body responds. And after about 4 weeks, you should have some level of base understanding for caloric intake and macronutrients that you can kind of start to play with supplements a little bit. So
It's really all about how you react to your results. Kind of touching on that, I know personally I'll use like a weekly tracker sheet. Or track weight, body fat. That way you can see exactly what is going on a weekly basis. Do it consistently, same day each week, and that way you can look back, see.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm. That way you can look back and see, okay, this is what I did this week. These are the results I got. I like them. I'm going to keep doing this, make a little bit better change. If it's not moving in the right direction, then hey, we need to make some changes. You know what to adjust to. I've been tracking, been pretty consistent myself for almost a few years now, and every 2 weeks when I do my grocery shopping, I'm finding a little bit something different out about myself that's gonna work out better. So
yeah, and there's just so many variables. You have to track, you have to know, you have to listen to your body, and different things work for different people. I like to step on the scale first thing in the morning, every single morning. That's what I do. I take my body fat and weight first thing in the morning, and I just know it holds me accountable. It helps me to understand more immediately how my previous day's events affected my body composition. That overwhelms some people, and also in the beginning it's a bit excessive. I'm at a point where I've been doing this for many years. I'm at a different kind of point in my fitness journey, so daily weigh-ins is not overwhelming to me or stressful to me or discouraging. It's simply data. I do what Sean says as well, and I have a weekly tracker for overall progress, but I do measure it every day. So whatever works for you, you have to find that out, you have to do that, whatever method's best for holding you accountable. But let's talk about supplements for fat loss. So you've heard me say in other videos, you've heard us preach about this. Insulin is the hormone that has to be manipulated to lose body fat. Everyone say it with me. Seriously, insulin, guys, insulin. If you are overweight, if you struggle to lose weight, if you always find yourself on a cutting diet, if you're always trying to drop a few pounds, you are insulin resistant. Bottom line, there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, there's stuff I'm about to tell you what you can do about it. But it's just how it is. It's just reality. So a high-carb diet, even the best carbohydrates that you think are so good, like brown rice and quinoa and oatmeal, all those things elicit a massive insulin response, even though they're good. They are good quality carbs for you. But when you eat those foods all the time at every meal, and you're insulin resistant, is when you gain weight. But that's also how you get insulin resistant in the first place. If you are insulin sensitive and you're watching this right now and you're already fairly lean, you're just looking for an extra stack on top, controlling when you eat carbohydrates throughout the timing of your day and not eating them at every single meal will help increase it or maintain your insulin sensitivity for the rest of your life. But let's talk right quick about getting that turned around. So obviously exercise helps with insulin sensitivity, so that's step one anyway. You're already exercising. A whole food diet in general and less processed foods will help with insulin sensitivity. But we're going to talk about a 4 supplement stack that will, it's all natural. Everything we're about to list, you can be found in nature. So it's not like you're taking a stimulant or any type of chemical or synthetic compounds. It's all natural ingredients. So the first one are fish oils. These have been talked about for a very long time, more popularly known as omega-3s. They go around, they come around, they have ups and highs where they're real popular, and they have dips where they're not as popular. Well, there's a big reason behind that, because a lot of people that take omega-3s don't see any results from it. Here's why. So when you buy an omega-3 supplement, it usually comes in about 1,000 milligrams or 1,400 milligrams, somewhere in there, per capsule. And usually, in like the cheaper ones, only 100 to 200 of those are omega-3s. And you're still thinking, well, I'm still getting 200 milligrams of omega-3s. Just wait for it. Better ones are going to be half and half. If you're wondering what the other part of the supplement is omega-6s, omega-6 fats, which aren't necessarily that bad for you. Like most natural fats, olive oil, those are omega-6s. So it's not like it's terrible for you. It's not what I'm saying. But omega-6s and omega-3s fight for the same receptors in the body. So they don't work in unison. They try to get to the same spot. And omega-3s work wonders when they are dominating the ratio. So it's all about the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. That's why people don't see any results. So getting a very high quality fish oil that is predominantly omega-3s. I've got one that only contains about 180 milligrams of omega-6s, and it's like 860 milligrams of omega-3s. And more specifically, EPA and DHA. Okay, those are the two type of omega-3s that do the best for insulin sensitivity. That's the point behind this. Fish oils do lots of good things. Help with brain health, joint health, all those things are good. But the main reason it's in the fat loss stack is for the insulin sensitivity portion of fish oils. So taking the fish oil, taking daily fish oils, high amounts of omega-3s, is just kind of linked with lower insulin resistance, which overall will help with body composition. So 3 grams at least twice a day. Man, you can't see my marker anymore. 3 grams 2 times per day. So that's a total of 6 grams daily. That's higher than what most recommended doses are, but it's fine. Read on it if you want. PubMed.com is a good resource to just kind of find research studies on different chemicals, or not chemicals, but different anything really, natural, chemical, synthetic, all of it. You can find it on PubMed and read about it. So fish oil is the first part of that.
Next one, we've got apple cider vinegar. I know I've kind of heard this from a lot of people. I know a lot of people that have been doing it and really have no idea why. Yeah, it's supposed to help with fat loss, but
it's supposed to be good for me.
But the point behind the apple cider vinegar is to increase your overall insulin sensitivity again. So ideally, you can have about 2 tablespoons before your higher carb meals. Also, before you go to bed. Taking it before you go to bed is going to increase your overall fasted glucose level by about 8% the next day. Another reason for doing those, they say the acidic nature of the apple cider vinegar helps with overall digestion, which again in turn is going to help with fat loss, increasing that insulin sensitivity.
Yep. So fish oils, apple cider vinegar, 3 grams twice a day, 2 tablespoons twice a day. One of those needs to be before bed. Next one is curcumin. So curcumin is an extract of turmeric. Turmeric is a very well-known herb in the medical industry. It's used a lot in treatment of cancer. You got some links, some very positive feedback there. Also, it has a lot of like antioxidants. It's also a natural aromatase inhibitor. All the testosterone in your body, both males and females, unused testosterone aromatizes into estrogen, which just means converts into estrogen. Generally males that have higher body fat, you have a higher aromatase rate. So this will help with that, which higher testosterone, lower estrogen will help with body composition as well. Even in women, you do have testosterone and estrogen. You have more estrogen than us, and you're built to run on more estrogen than us, but still keeping the estrogen in check and keeping your testosterone at healthy levels is an important part of fitness as well. And overall health, higher testosterone levels are linked with like a longer life and things like that. So it is important. But again, insulin sensitivity. It's linked to increased insulin sensitivity. So if you hadn't noticed a trend here, it's all about insulin sensitivity. But curcumin has lots of different effects, lots of different benefits, anti-inflammatory, joint pain, back pain, it can help with that. There's lots of fluctuation in recommended doses. This is the most expensive supplement up here, although it's still not that expensive compared to like other fat burners and things. These are very inexpensive compared to all supplements, but this is the highest cost item that was going to be on this list. So if you want to get natural turmeric, just pure turmeric, it is cheaper and you can take that, but you have to mix it in like some oil and it's like a paste and it's kind of gross, but up to you. So about 900 milligrams. I've heard the bottom end quoted at 500 milligrams. So 900 to 500 milligrams per day. Ideally, consuming any type of supplement with fats help a little bit, except for this one. Don't take that one with carbs, not fats, but everything else we're showing you, taking them with fats will help with the solubility there. But there is some argument that curcumin on an empty stomach absorbs best, but I always go with food is my general suggestion. The other thing you have to look out for with curcumin is you have to make sure it includes piperine or bioperine. Those are black pepper extracts. And if they are not on that label, your body will absorb almost none of this. So you need piperine or bioperine in your curcumin supplement.
And the last one, psyllium fiber. Not a whole lot to it, but it does help out in combination with all of these other things. But again, it comes down to increasing overall insulin sensitivity. You take it, I would say, 2 times per day, about 3 grams at a time. Doing that will increase your fasted glucose level the next day by as much as 11%, some studies say. So,
and that last dose needs to be before bed. Same with apple cider vinegar.
So ideally before bed and in the morning, like I said, 3 grams at a time there.
I take this whole stack in the morning, and at night I take 1,800 milligrams of curcumin. So I am 100% certain that you will be fine at these doses. But all these are totally natural supplements. They don't have any type of stimulants in them. There is some link with curcumin to like trouble with sleeping, but I haven't experienced it. But just monitor that. Maybe you need to take that one in the middle of the day instead of at night. But I take all these first thing in the morning with my breakfast because I have a high-fat breakfast, and then I take them last night. I take them at the last thing before bed, about an hour after I eat my last meal or so. So this stack here, you can find everything at Target, or curcumin you might have to go to like Vitamin Shop for, somewhere like that, GNC. Order it online, or we can order supplements at the club as well. So whatever works best. But these are a great stack, and all of them individually don't produce that large of an impact, but all of them stacked together produce a much more effective result with the first list in mind. Exercising and balanced nutrition to start off with. So hope that helped. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, just kind of recapping. Again, all of this is very helpful, but first and foremost, we want to get our lifestyles in check. If you answered no to any of those questions from the answers, if you're ready for supplements or not, then that's going to be your main focus there. So
yeah, getting ready. The only thing that I would say doesn't apply to that rule is a protein supplement. I always think it's a good idea to take protein after your workouts, whey protein, preferably an isolate or hydroisolate. But beyond that, don't worry about any supplementation until you have that lifestyle down. So.